Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. This is Voices in Vegas with Susan and friends. Welcome. Hi, and today we have Debbie Veach.
Hi, Debbie.
From Enchanted
Hello.
Forest.
How are you?
Good.
We're so excited to have you here.
Likewise.
So, Debbie, I wanted to tell our listeners that Debbie is one of my fabulous friends.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a special show.
This is a very special show. The angels are definitely with us today. Debbie came into my life when I came back from my first trip to Kyoto and my first ascension to Karama. And I got so excited about
Explain
Reiki.
to what that is. What is Ascension to Karama so people understand?
In Kyoto, there is a mountain called Mount Karama. And on it, there's I believe, a Shinto shrine or Buddhist shrine. And it is where Usui Mikao first was enlightened with Reiki.
And Usui Mikao is?
I don't know, Debbie, how would you, is he the founder or the discoverer of Reiki?
I would say founder of Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Or rediscoverer of Reiki, because it is believed that Reiki was here on this planet back in the days of Lemuria. So I guess we'll never know for sure, but he certainly brought it back.
Yeah, he's the one that really gave birth to
brought
it
to
or
fruition.
brought it back to birth.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was up there meditating, getting attuned, which is what happens when you get Reiki, I had this epiphany that I really wanted to open a Reiki center in Las Vegas. I was so jazzed. But the thing is, though, that I just knew that I wanted it, but I wasn't going to be the person to make it happen. I sent it up to my angels. 6 months later, my husband comes home from work and he says, I rented something. And I said, you rent something every day. He said, no.
He is a property renter. He rents property.
Yeah, he's a property manager.
Property manager.
And he said, no. A nice Jewish lady who does Reiki. And I looked up to the heavens and I said, this stuff really works. And after that, Debbie has been, her center has been a ground zero, really groundbreaking center, bringing all kinds of, not just Reiki. You do a lot more. Tell us about what else you have and tell us where it is.
And I want to hear from the start, as when you first opened up, how did you open up? And she had this great idea. All of a sudden it happened and you rented. What happened the day you rented or even the week before? What was in your mind and how did your center come to fruition and the name of your center and where it's located?
Well, boy, that's a lot of questions.
It is a lot of questions. Take it as you will. Take it as you will.
After years of a health struggle that finally got fixed through a naturopath who got me well, and one of the things that she did on me was Reiki, and it resonated with me deeply because it was very similar to energy work my parents did on us when we were children, that I decided that since I finally got well through this natural path and through energy healing, that I wanted to look into it myself. And so I did. It resonated with me very deeply, and I really couldn't stop thinking about it after I took my Reiki 1 class and then decided to take it to the Reiki 2. And even the teacher who was my Reiki Master had said to me that she thinks that it would be important for me, that she was seeing through her angelic team that it was important that I pursue opening up a center. And so about 6 weeks later from that day, I did. And
wow. That's quick. That's really quick.
Well, Spirit wasn't leaving me alone. We'll just put it that way. For those of you who believe in that, I was getting what they call downloads of visions and interruptions from Spirit when I was trying to do my regular job after that. So it was really kind of pointless because I couldn't really function at my regular job. They were making it very clear that I was not doing what I needed to be doing and that Spirit was waiting for me. So,
that sounds like a poignant transition time.
Yes. And so in that 6-week time, I did a lot of deep meditations and a lot of work, and the name Enchanted Forest Reiki was given to me. And as soon as it came through, I knew that's the name. And Susan's husband, Michael, has a lovely place to rent from, especially if you are a new business. And it was affordable. The location and the way to get there was easy, just right off the freeway at 800 North Rainbow. And I just thought, what the heck? I It was great because it was just a month-to-month lease, so I didn't have to worry if it didn't work out, and I was able to give it a shot. So I opened it with one room, doing Reiki, and as Susan can confess, and you for that matter, now that I think about it, you both saw me and met me when I was up in that one tiny 110 square foot room that I couldn't even work on both sides of the bed. It was up against the wall because it was just too tiny for me to.
The angels were on the other side of the bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they were going straight through.
So yeah, that's how it opened, and that was about 4.5 years ago. We opened with 110 square feet.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And I just want to tell our listeners right now, if they have questions for Debbie
please
or
call
Susan,
in.
please call in at 702-483-4444. That's 702 area code, Las Vegas area code, 483-4444. And we're also live on Periscope as well. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, please feel free to give us a call.
Right on. So it's amazing. I remember when you first started out with that 110 square foot room.
Which was gorgeous as it was.
Let me tell you, when I used to go, because when you become it's an occupational hazard when you are a healthcare giver, that you give but you don't get. It's very hard to find somebody. So as a nurse, I just absolutely fell in love with your practice because it was a quick way for me to recoup my energy that I had lost maybe working. Not like I'm upset about it, but it was a place where I could come ground my energy, fill myself up back with good energy, relax, and it was just a rejuvenating experience. So, I was rooting for you every way because I needed this. And you have a beautiful shop as well. Yes. I love going in there.
Well, you have grown exponentially.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. You're upstairs, you're downstairs, you're back and to the sides. I mean, every time I would come and see you, you were just growing and growing and growing.
Yes.
And it must be mind-blowing for you. After 4 years, because business just come and crash, and you have just grown and grown and grown, and you just keep, because some people just grow wide, you're just growing vertical and horizontal, which is amazing.
I think a lot of it has to do with the times. We are in the age of Aquarius, and people are starting to realize that, sometimes we can't be cured with chemicals.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
And sometimes our bodies know how to heal itself, but we have to learn how to do that. Now, Debbie was very blessed because she has amazing parents, and they taught her this. So for her, it was just so natural. It wasn't something that was strange or weird. It was so, going to her, I felt so comfortable.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was immediate. And I can recall certain sessions and feel the effects of certain sessions still from years ago. I remember, things and it's not, without getting too personal, but it's extremely effective.
Yeah, it is.
Extremely effective. If you have not tried Reiki, and Reiki is not a modality that you've ever tried, it is something worth giving at least an experience to, because I think that's so important. If you have health issues, if you don't have health issues and just want to try it, it's something to definitely sink your teeth into. I mean, Vanity Fair just did that giant article on it. Huge article. Everybody is looking for Reiki, and nobody can find anybody worthwhile.
What's really interesting is that as a nurse, I have used Reiki. I can't help it. It's just part of me. When I touch someone, it's just, the Reiki flows.
Well, you do Reiki. You do Reiki. I'm just beginning Reiki. So, we got a lot of energy in this room today. So,
but wouldn't it be nice if we could get that into the hospitals?
Absolutely.
Because I do think that it's mind, body, spirit. And, we address the mind, kind of, and then the body is what we work on. But as far as like Western medicine, I'm just going to say Western medicine, we really don't address the spirituality. We kind of like don't want to look at it. We don't want to address it because you know how you never talk about money or politics, religion, or money, right? You'll never get into a fight. So no one's going to talk about religion, but I'm not talking about religion with my patients. I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about let's think positive. Let's look at the best, and I think we really need to get more of an alternative modality into some of the hospitals, and also mostly to help heal the nurses, because that's a hard job. We never talk about the caregiver and what the caregiver needs. So if you are a caregiver, I think that going to Debbie's Enchanted Forest Reiki Center was a great place for you to take a spell and get a respite.
Well, Debbie, tell us, I think that you told me once that the St. Rose has a Reiki department, and also
St. Rose Hospital
they
here in
do?
Las Vegas has a Reiki circle. They've had it for years.
Oh, how nice.
And actually, Cedars-Sinai and Mayo Clinic have Reiki departments, and about 30% of the hospitals in the U.S., there's actually several hundred hospitals in the U.S. today that have Reiki departments. And Reiki is actually, unfortunately not for me, but I am looking into it. If you find certain practitioners around the country, you can get your CEU for nursing through
That's how I got into Reiki.
Yeah, so it is getting recognized enough to where there's more and more Reiki practitioners that are getting set up for that. So, and it's in, if you know Nathan Adelson Hospice, they have Reiki volunteers, and I've had Reiki volunteers for years. So it is definitely more and more recognized even in Western medicine. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where it is, 5-10 years from now. I remember when chiropractic was looked at as something that was weird and
voodoo.
odd.
Yeah.
And here we go, you fast forward 15 years later, and it's on most any health insurance. And I'm pretty sure that we'll be seeing the same thing with Reiki.
Now, do you provide any CEUs for any of the board certified practices here in town?
Yes, if you take a Reiki class, we are CEU certified for massage therapy.
Wonderful.
So if you are a massage
wonderful.
therapist, it's you get CEU credits, and that's for our Reiki classes, as well as if you ever see us advertising any of the Bars Access Consciousness classes, such as the Bars MTV SS or the Energetic Facelift. Any of those certification classes are also CEU certified for massage therapy.
And any kind of masseuse that is licensed through the State Board of Nevada,
Right.
Massage can go to enchantedforestreiki.com and get a hold of you and find out more information about that.
Right.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And please, if anybody's listening and you have questions about this, if you are somebody who is certified here, you want to see CEUs come into your board, you want to be able to bring CEUs to you and your friends, and you're a masseuse, give us a call here, 702-483-4444. Talk to Debbie Veach here on the radio today, and she will give you information.
I would like somebody to call in and tell me about their Reiki experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 702-483-4444.
I think it's I gave out the wrong phone number last week.
Okay, 702-483-4444.
That would be great.
Also at Debbie's center, it's not just Reiki.
Right.
You can find pretty much any kind of practitioner. It's a great I don't even know.
Facility for,
Clearinghouse? Not clearinghouse. That's not right. That's not right. I mean, it's a clearinghouse of your energy. But
I get it. Yeah.
It's sort of like a great place to meet other spiritually based healers. And there are a lot of healers in this city. I come across them all the time. And you don't necessarily have to be a licensed healthcare professional to be a healer.
Well, you not only have healing, you have classes. You've got classes at least 2 classes a day, every day of the week. Tell us a little bit about the classes that you have going on. Tell us about, because this is airing today, about the bed that you have coming in.
Yeah, we have classes here pretty much almost every night and weekend. It's anywhere from 40 to 60 events a month, and they're teachers that come from local as well as all over the world, literally country, you name it, that do events at our center. This weekend alone, we have two amazing, well, we have a lot more than just two for that matter, but the main thing that Miss April over here is referring to is a John of God crystal healing bed. It's the first time we've ever had it in our 4.5 years of business, and it's going to be here for just 3 days on October 9th, 10th, and 11th from 10 in the morning until 7 at night.
Get your spot, people. They're going fast.
They are.
Tell
we
us
only
what
have
that
a couple
is.
spots left for Friday, and then we do still have spots for Saturday and some for Sunday. So it's great. It's the John of God crystal bed is, if you are familiar with John of God, which is considered to be one of the premier healers in the world. If anybody knows Wayne Dyer's story, he was healed through John of God. Wow. And the John of God crystal healing bed is programmed. The crystals are programmed with entities of love and light. And it is an experience that is going to be unique for each person. Some people honestly don't feel anything. Other people will cry throughout the entire session as they're getting all kinds of information sent through them, through the loving energies of the crystals. It's just a unique experience for everybody. It is each crystal that is there is also attuned to the chakra system. So you have the colors that are resonating, beautiful rainbow colors coming through. You're listening to soft music while these crystals are working on your energetic body. So it's certainly relaxing. If nothing else, you got nothing to lose to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it might actually turn into something life-changing. Also this weekend, we have a woman there who does artistic messages from spirit. And she will be doing a Reiki session, followed by then doing a painting, an energetic painting of what she sees in the visions as she works on you, which is considered to be a painting of your soul. And if you've ever seen her pictures and her paintwork in her drawings, and then when she explains to it what she was seeing, I promise you it will resonate with you to the point that it will bring you to tears.
Wow.
And then you get to keep that for the rest of your life, to see it and look at it and know that this is how spirit sees you from the other side.
And reflect on it.
And is that the class for singles and couples, or was that a different one?
That's one that you could do either as an individual. Yes, the artistic messages from spirit, that is $95 because that includes a 30-minute Reiki session plus the painting, plus the interpretation of that painting. And you can do it $95 as an individual or $145 as a couple. And then she will give you an interpretation of your energies together.
What a great, I'm sorry, but if you have questions about this is a great way to spend your money. I mean, you will get something out of it that will be more than anything you could physically buy.
And these tickets, they do go quickly.
They do.
You know, it's like I work closely with Debbie and also Susan here, and I'm I see and I'm learning about all these modalities and what's going on with it, and I see how fast these go. If you go to eventbrite.com and look up Enchanted Forest Reiki, or just go straight to the Enchanted Forest Reiki site, you can go to her Facebook page, Enchanted Forest Reiki. Really easy to find to get these tickets, or just talk to Debbie. Just call the center and talk to Debbie. Debbie, give us the phone number.
702-948-4999.
That's fabulous.
It's at 800 North Rainbow.
Suite 100.
Suite 100, way in the back, and it is just, my daughter likes to go in there just to soak up the energy.
So does mine. So does my son. Our kids love it.
I've always joked that you should have like sort of a lounge, a kids lounge, to just kind of like...
Well, she has a wonderful sound lounge, and on Fridays you have the Free Vibes Fridays, which is wonderful.
Yeah, we have the Sound Lounge. Every Friday we offer our Sound Lounge free to veterans or families with children, autistic children, so that they can see if the frequencies will help them. And we do also have the first Saturday of every month, a kids happy hour. And this month we just started the third Saturday of every month, a kids meditation hour.
Wow. That's very cool. Yeah. That's exciting.
That's exciting. To
Wow.
learn that kind of calming or that kind of learning.
Especially for
that's
kids.
a tool. Yes.
And for self-esteem as well for children to
Can
be
you
able to
imagine?
like take a step back, take a deep breath, and
if I had learned those kind of meditation tricks when I was in school.
yeah. If only.
Well,
speaking about taking a step back and taking a deep breath, let's give some love to the sponsors and take
Right
a
on.
deep breath.
Let's
and
take a
we'll
break.
Come on back with
Go
the
get a cup
awesome
of coffee
Debbie Veach.
and a pad of paper and a pen. We have
That's
more
right. Get
information.
your maxi pad
Get your maxi pad.
here on Voices in Vegas.
Come on
Vegas
back.
All Net Radio. We'll be right back.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Voices in Vegas with Susan and friends. I hope you have filled up your coffee and you have your maxi pad and your space pen so that we can get back to
Debbie has no
talking
idea what you're talking about, the maxi pad. As you can see the maxi
Well, I have
pad
a very
behind
different
us, you know, the
vision of
good
the
old
maxi
maxi pad.
pad.
Yeah. Please tell her what the maxi pad is.
The maxi pad is a huge piece of paper that I have. It's
Okay.
like a pad of paper. You know, some people have like pads of paper. I have one that's probably about a foot and a half by a foot or
It's
something.
giant.
And it's great.
It has little cameos in it, and you could write notes on, you know. You'd love it.
And
I just
You would
thought
love
Stay
it.
Free was getting, free
Yeah.
advertising.
That's
or
right.
something.
and instead of
Kotex is a
having,
sponsor.
so what were we talking about?
Maxi pads.
Maxi
We're
pads.
talking about Reiki. We were talking about Debbie's classes that she's having.
Yes.
And where we can
the
find her.
center. The center. And the classes are fantastic, but you really do have to sign up early because they do fill up quite. You really need to expand. You need more room. That you have just so many people, so many wonderful people at
Agreed.
your center, right? And I also love you have a shop there. It's to get your supplies.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
tell me what you have. I love going in there because I love the customer service.
Thank you.
My house is filled. It could be enough
Oh.
Enchanted Forest Reiki if you came in my house. I'm slowly building my, Reiki box and my necklaces, and my son loves this stuff, and I have incense and candles and angel cards and
It
books.
starts to
and
collect. The angels
addicting.
start moving
it's
in.
addicting. This store is addicting people. I'm telling you. Once you go in, it sticks with you. It's
And
it's like a fine wine. I need another bottle.
Well, you just walk in there and you feel so good.
You
That's
do.
the number one thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like, wow, what happened?
Where's this been?
And it's so fascinating. Your shop is so nicely decorated. There's a beautiful tree in the center, which just is fantastic.
Tell
It's
us
just
about
magical.
the tree. Tell us about the symbol in the tree.
And who designed that tree or that whole tree in your shop? Because it's just beautiful.
Well, I was very blessed. One of our clients, who was a regular for quite some time when I was a little bit smaller and a few doors down in that lovely building, used to joke with me that he could build me some beautiful things that I needed for the space. And I would say, well, go for it. And one day when I did take the move, and he asked me, well, how do I like the space? And I said, well, I like it. It certainly fits me better, with the new expanded room, but what I really see here is a tree in the middle of it. And he said, fine, I'll build it.
Isn't that funny?
And that was that. And James Phoenix, who is now one of my employees, came to work after that. Built
guy.
it,
Great
and he is a visionary beyond a visionary, and built this magnificent tree that sits right in the middle with the shelving, and then did all the decorating and built some magnificent fountains and fairy fountains that you see all throughout the space, and just
It's
created
magical.
I created the Enchanted Forest. So
It's
yeah,
enchanted.
it's very enchanted.
Very enchanted. You've got to stop by 800 North Rainbow. It's a corner of Washington and Rainbow, just north of the Rainbow Curve. Mm-hmm. And you've got to check this place out. But also, you have a lot of very knowledgeable and helpful people who work in the shop,
Practitioners?
Yes.
Practitioners.
So when you go in, like sometimes I'll read an article about something, and it'll say, "Oh, you need this kind of gemstone." To me, I don't know any different, but I can go into Enchanted Forest Reiki, and the people that you have there are so helpful. They are knowledgeable. They know exactly what I want, how to use it, and they're very. It's not just I'm selling you something, give me your money. They're really interested in how do you find these wonderful people, or is it just the angels the Reiki? Does the Reiki bring it to you?
I would say Spirit has brought 99.9% of everybody that works there. It's really been quite an interesting adventure with that. When I opened the center, it was just myself. And about 7 months later, Spirit said I needed to expand a little bit, and that's when I moved to a 2-room space. And within 2-3 days of me moving into that 2-room space, I had 2 different women approach me and wanted to know if they could work out of there. And I'm like, seriously? How did you even find out about me? I've only been down here for like 2-3 days, and they found me.
Wow.
And it's been like that ever since. And what started out with one person, I really, honestly, sincerely don't know how many work there now. I think it's probably close to 30. But we have everything from Reiki practitioners to Theta to Bars Access to the
numerologist.
Well, that's only as events here. But as far as on a regular basis, what we do is the energy healing. So it's different energy healing types of modalities. But you've got all kinds of different energy healers. We have the Native American shamanic healers. We literally have a Cree Indian medicine man, holy man from Canada, who does sessions out of there. And they have all found me. I can't say that I have found them. It's through different means, everything from just being referred to me, to the internet, to hearing about me at some sort of event. I don't know. It's been just kind of magical over the years. And
I know what it is. I know what it is. It's a Reiki.
It's the Reiki.
So when a practitioner comes in and approaches you, does Spirit kind of guide you? It's like this person's not so much. I mean, is there a stringent interview process? So for those who are listening and saying, hey, I want to bring my practice to Enchanted Forest, what are some of the prerequisites or some of the things that practitioners should know in preparation before approaching you?
Well, we don't accept just any healer because, let's face it, my belief system, and I don't know about yours, is that everybody is a healer. And a lot of people will come in saying to me, well, I have healing gifts that have been given to me and I did healing work, and that's beautiful. But
congratulations.
What we need is people who have actually taken classes and got certifications in those modalities. So that's the first thing I'm going to look at, to make sure that they have taken the formal classes that are needed for the type of modality that they say they practice. And then usually I have them do a session on me to kind of see how they are. And then a little bit of an interview, and just kind of that's been the process.
Yeah.
Everybody that works out of there,
process.
there's a step process. Everybody that's there is an independent. They're a 1099 freelance, but I'm still going to put them through a little bit of work to kind of show me and make sure that I'm comfortable with them.
Yes.
Before they start working out of the center.
And just to make sure that there's a fit.
And to make sure there's a fit,
and
absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there who do advertise, come to my place. The nice thing about your center is that you have vetted all these people. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're just kind of wandering in. These practitioners are part of a group. Sure. And so you can be sure that the person who's going to be working on you meets a certain critical
has
standard.
a certain standard.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I think that's what makes the whole feeling of going there. You don't feel anxious. You feel like, okay, this is going to be a safe place. It's okay. And I can tell you that it's a beautiful place and I love it. And I go there all the time.
Yeah, well, we have kind of 3 different aspects to the business. We have our gift shop, which is kind of getting to be known as a go-to place when people come to Nevada, which cracks me up.
I love it. That's great.
The gift shop has everything from the beautiful crystals and books and candles and you name it, jewelry, lots of local artists as well as international artists that
Nice.
send us stuff. A little bit of everything, tchotchkes from all over the place.
I love it.
And-
Who doesn't love tchotchkes?
Yeah.
You know? And if you're tuning in right now and you want to call in and you have questions for Debbie, you have questions for Susan, give a call into 702-483-4444. We would love to hear from you. And if you missed any of this broadcast, you can go to voicesinvegas.com and hear the archives. You can go to Vegas All Net Radio. We're on every single Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this isn't the first time Debbie's going to be here. So, you know, we're definitely going to be having her back. Absolutely. I kind of want to like circle back a little bit to the Sound Lounge, and we kind of touched on that and how you're giving back to the community and whatnot with the veterans and the families with autistic children who have autistic challenges. But how did the Sound Lounge come to be, and what exactly is it?
Well, the Sound Lounge is...
I love the sound of it.
Yeah,
you know?
I like the
I
name.
love the
But the thing is,
sound of the Sound
it's
Lounge.
absolutely gorgeous. If you are stressed out and you walk into the Sound Lounge, it's like you go from like here to here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a beautiful room. I just want to work out of there all day long.
Yeah.
It's-
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would.
Well, there is another story. I mean, I would have thousands of stories that I could talk about for hours, but the incredible Regina Murphy is who brought the Sound Lounge to us. And
wow.
Regina had been told by many people she needed to meet me because of my center, and I'd been told to meet her, and we kind of talked back and forth through Facebook, but never really hooked up. And then I was guided to do a booth at an event a few years back, and she was guided to do an event at that booth. I wasn't real too anxious about doing that event, and neither was she, but we were both getting pushed by spirit to do it. And ta-da!
Ta-da!
We met each other, and it was within 1 week of that day that I made sure to open another room so that she could put in her sound bed. And it's a combination of vibroacoustics.
Okay.
So when you lie on this bed, you're getting very subtle vibration that's coming through, and then frequencies that are being played. And the sound and the frequencies are designed to help the body resonate and heal according to very specific issues. But this is stuff that she studies and works with a medical team on. And so the work that she does out of there is all with grants. And
wow.
Wow.
yeah. And so, but she lets us borrow her equipment.
That's
cool.
wonderful.
That's
Wow.
really
And
cool.
She's
it's
there.
a subtle vibration. And the
Yes.
bed doesn't shake. It's a very subtle, comfortable vibration. So it isn't like you put a quarter in a cheap hotel and it's
Yeah,
you know, it's a subtle, very comfortable vibration that kind of lulls you.
It's kind
Yes.
of like a white noise.
Yes. Yes.
Very low, but it's almost like a heartbeat. It's like a
like a fan,
like a
spinning
natural kind of
you
feeling
know.
that you just naturally fall into, and your whole body starts to kind of like equalize or balance out.
Yeah.
I love the feeling.
Yeah,
but
well,
when I
she
thought
has
of the
all
sound,
kinds of them. She has close to 100 different frequencies. You have
Oh, so
everything
you can
there.
change the
Yeah,
frequencies.
we have everything that's for back pain to for anxiety and
That's
stress to PTSD.
amazing.
You name it. There's all kinds.
Mine's
of
always
different
set to
ones.
crazy. So, you know.
do you have a sound bed
My
for?
bed just goes, "Rrr," you know. But no, I'm kidding. But I didn't know that there were different frequencies.
Yeah,
I always
sure.
thought, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of us healers will add it into our Reiki sessions because what an extra. It's almost like having another healer in the room with us. And
So you can have a whole day of healing. What do you suggest to somebody who's never been, but kind of wants the whole experience, like for a first timer? What do you suggest for a first appointment?
I would say probably the most popular one that we do. We have a $100 package that's 60 minutes of Reiki along with a crystal stone chakra balancing and sage ritual. And that combination's about an hour and 20-minute appointment. And
That's a long appointment.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
it's $100, and we take $10 off as a new client. So technically, you're paying $90 for that first appointment for about an hour and 20 minutes of work. And most people will say to us afterwards that was more relaxing and more healing than any massage they've ever received,
I was
even though
gonna
we don't
say.
even
Yeah.
have to put our hands on you.
Yeah.
And that they are blown away. because it'll work on any of the energy healing, the Reiki, the bars access, anything that what we do at the center is going to work not only on the emotional body, but it's also working on the physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. So it's working on all different aspects of your being, and it keeps on going. So even if you've had a Reiki session, it's not like the minute that we stop giving you Reiki that you stop getting the healing. Reiki has a tendency to continue to work on you energetically for about up to 48 hours after your session. And so it's quite amazing. So a lot of times people will see a little bit difference in their sleep pattern for a day or two. Sometimes they'll find themselves crying even a day later, and they're like, "What's wrong with me?" And it's just because the body is releasing and healing.
That's amazing.
After my first Reiki session, I went out with a whole bunch of my girlfriends from John Marshall High School in Los Angeles. I felt so energized. We had a great night. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was with Jessica Miller, a healing night.
Sure.
And I just kind of went because I was just bumbling around and happened onto it. And it's just, as a woman of science, it changed my nursing practice. Mm-hmm. And as a nurse, I still believe in antibiotics and vaccines and surgery, and I have a lot of respect for medical doctors. But sometimes the medical doctors who are really trained to heal disease, that's their thing. And it's really, I would like to see this get more into nursing, because we really spend a lot of time with the patients.
Right.
And sometimes, all the time, patients come to the hospital and they're anxious. Understandable. And it just, for me, the Reiki helps me to overcome that hurdle for my patient's benefit. Mm-hmm. And that makes me happy.
Absolutely.
And so I would really love to see this go into all hospitals.
I agree with you 100%.
Not only for the benefit of the patients, but also the nurses and the doctors and the ancillary staff.
Anybody who does hands-on with the public, cosmetologists, massage therapists, dentists, doctors. I mean, this is
police officers.
This is something to make aware to your boards, to your groups, to your fellow practitioners. This is something that you may really want to look into. It was written up in the American Journal of Medicine. There are so many studies right now. Even the military has done extensive studies that we found on Reiki and helping not only PTSD, but veterans before they go into, the front lines, so they can do Reiki on themselves. And kind of, let's go right into that while that hits me in the boob.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
When I was meditating, or when I was in Japan on the Reiki trip that I went, I found out that Usui Mikao was actually from the samurai family. I mean, his family were samurai class. And they taught this form of healing. And also, it's a very martial arts. People prepared themselves. These samurai would prepare themselves with something similar to Reiki. I'm sure it was by Reiki, to give them that strength and that power and protection. And then after they would come back from battle, they would use Reiki to heal. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't have, MASH units out there, right? They didn't have antibiotics or vaccines. So this is how the warriors would heal themselves. Mm-hmm. And so if it's good enough for Usui Mikao, but what happened was when Usui Mikao was born in 1865, that's when Commodore Perry came in and the United States started invading Japan, and they abolished the feudal system. Well, you can abolish a system, but, if this has been a family tradition, it gets passed on. And I truly believe that that's what Usui Mikao was doing. Mm-hmm. He was moving this energy from a secret for the samurai to everybody.
Yes.
And he even used it after an earthquake to go and heal the people.
Yes,
I don't know what city it was, but he did go. I think it was maybe Tokyo. Mm-hmm. But I think that it can be used in so many different ways.
Well, in showing that they could heal themselves out in the samurai days and in military, can people heal themselves through Reiki?
Oh, absolutely. Again, now I will say, just because I should, we have everyone sign a disclaimer that, explains that we have no guarantees with a Reiki session, but at the same time, it is within us all to heal. And really, I'm a good example of that. As I mentioned, I was in the Western medicine circle for many years trying to heal from lung problems that I was having that were debilitating me tremendously. And I'll be the first to admit that I had gone so many years without really doing much of any of the practices my parents taught me in childhood, that I had gone through the programming that, media does, and I was just seeing doctors, and not just, doctors are great, but each time it was just giving me another medication. And if that one didn't work, oh, well, here's another medication. And then I was having the side effects from those medications, which gave me more medications. And by the time I saw my naturopath, I was on 11 medications.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How
And
old were you, if I could ask at that time?
I would have been around 44.
Oh, too young to be on that many medications.
And no, I mean, I wasn't functioning either. I wasn't able to work. So to go to the naturopath and have the combination, just switching my diet, putting me on herbs and doing the energy healing. And one of the things that she stressed deeply is keep in mind that she's not the healer, that really spirit is the healer in you. The agreement is between your own higher self and spirit. A Reiki practitioner is just the conduit for that energy to channel through, but we are not actually the healer. It is you and yourself making that decision energetically that you are ready to heal, that you're ready to move on. And probably one of the best examples I can have is choices. It's at the end of the day, it's really your choice. I remember working on a woman who came in, and she was coming in because she was upset and angry because she had a very bad breakup with a boyfriend. And she said the session was magnificent. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And I said, well, hopefully this will help you let go of the anger that you've been holding on to regarding that relationship and move on and move forward. And she just looked at me, even though she had this beautiful session and loved it. And she says, oh, I didn't come here to release from the anger. I'm not ready to let go of the anger. He deserves me to be pissed off at him. And I just looked at her and I said, well, I guess that's your decision. And she said, yeah, no, I just came in here because I just needed to relax. I've been too upset and tense, and you relaxed me. So again, there's a difference between somebody who's coming in to actually truly heal and let go and move forward and expand, and somebody who is not. So somebody like herself, chances are it's very, very limited as to what the Reiki was really doing, but that was because of her choice.
But you know what? That could have been the first step.
Right.
Once you start feeling good, it's hard to be angry.
Hard to stay angry. Absolutely. Where other people will make the choice to heal, and you'll see much better.
But you got to do the work. I mean, I know that you taught
work.
Me, as you did Reiki on me, that there came a time where you looked at me and said, you got to really do the work. Mm-hmm. I can't do all the work. Yeah. You got to do the work. And it really resonated with me. And I'm like, I do have to do the work, you know? So when I started doing the work, wow, what a difference when you're working on it and you have a Reiki practitioner, a Reiki master working on you. What a difference it makes in your life.
Well, we hold the space.
Yes.
We hold the space for you so that this healing can go on. That's why it works. Because we're just kind of like keeping you in this little bubble while spirit does its thing.
Exactly.
I also, as a nurse, I also want to make clear the difference between curing and healing.
Yes.
Great.
I don't cure. I'll be the first one. I know my limits. Healing, though, is possible. When I cut my finger, it heals. When my feelings get hurt, I can heal. And if there's some kind of emotional problem that I'm dealing with that I just can't seem to get through, Reiki, when I have a session, and I always have Debbie, she holds that space where I feel free and safe enough to maybe go there and face that issue that ordinarily on my own, while I'm really busy doing other things, I don't want to deal with it because I just don't have the skills. But when you work with spirit, you know, Reiki and spirit always gives you the exact perfect prescription for your mind, body, and spirit. At the hospital, we always have to do weight and height so that the pharmacy can make sure calculate all the drugs are correct, right? But with Reiki, you can't overdose.
No.
And you
no.
can't underdose because it's really spirit is the one who's working with the client for the perfect for the best outcome for everybody.
Right.
It's not about you have to lose for me to win. It's Reiki's very much a win-win situation because when I do Reiki, I get a Reiki session.
Yes.
Yes.
I come away feeling wow. And sometimes I don't even know what I was doing. I just know that I was doing Reiki and spirit was just basically in charge.
Right.
I love it. I enjoy giving Reiki and receiving it as well.
Well, I've noticed when I do Reiki on myself, the Reiki will go where it's needed.
Yes.
You know, so if I'm at a stoplight, I learned from the person who taught me Reiki, Melissa Amika over
Right.
at Enchanted Forest Reiki. And I'm taking Reiki 2 this weekend, which is happening at Enchanted Forest Reiki
Yes,
as well.
it's
And
another
that's
one of our
I
classes
think it's
this weekend.
9 to 5 on Saturday.
Right,
So there's
for
still
level 2.
room. So get your tickets, EnchantedForestReiki.com. But I noticed that I'll be at a stoplight or whatnot, and I'll just, give myself a little bit of Reiki, and it'll go where it's needed. 5 minutes is better than no minutes of Reiki. So, it's even through the day,
Yes.
when I feel like I need it, the precepts that are involved and everything that are involved and whatnot. And if you stay and you work it, learning Reiki on yourself, I feel so ready for 2, because I think that everybody goes through their own Reiki journey,
Yes, they
once
do.
they do
absolutely.
it,
And Reiki finds you.
So it
you
does.
You don't find Reiki, it finds you.
Well, I made an appointment with Debbie just to ask her, do you feel that I'm ready for Reiki 2? And she said, Reiki 1. She said, yes, absolutely.
You're asking the question. You're ready.
So I got, kind of wise counsel. I always said I'm surrounded by so many sensitives that my life can't go too wrong. Someone's going to tell me something about something.
Somebody's going to catch you before you fall.
Before I get 2-inch bilkis.
Exactly. Well, I am so happy that you're here. In fact, just having you in the room, I am feeling much better.
Me too.
Don't you?
Yes, every time.
And then there are people who also do Reiki on animals.
Yes. Oh, sure.
And distance Reiki.
And
Oh,
distance
yeah.
Reiki, I was going to say we could throw some Reiki out there,
Yes.
just for the world.
Reiki can be done on anybody. It can be done on a person. It can be done on animals. It can be done on plants. It can be done on situations, on buildings, on spaces, on events. There isn't really a limit to Reiki because, again, what we're talking about is energetic healing. And for those of you who ever walked into a building and thought, ooh, gosh, this place doesn't feel very good, what you're feeling and what you're sensing is the energy in that space is not very good. And you can Reiki a space and do energetic healing on that space to shift that energy.
I Reiki labor and delivery at UMC every time I go to work. Even before I clock in.
Yes.
I Reiki all the nurses, all the patients, all the doctors for a healing day.
Yes, and
Sometimes it
animals
works,
are
but-
really sensitive to Reiki, and so are children. If you ever want to, check Reiki, just have a small child, do Reiki on a small child, or do Reiki on an animal, and watch their reactions because they are so pure and clean with their energy. They can pick up the energy that's coming to them so much easier, and their reactions is just priceless, just to watch. And for years, while we had a cat, when I would start doing my self-Reiki treatments, my cat would always come over, sit in my lap, and stay the entire time.
Yeah.
When I was getting chemo last fall, my cat would always come and sit next to me, and it was a wonderful feeling. Yeah, because I was doing Reiki as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And animals are amazing to watch them, and plants. I've done it on plants, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I usually kill my plants, and the ones I do Reiki on,
Yeah,
it's sort of like they
Reiki
get. I protect
and-
my plants from me.
Yeah, and you can do it distant healing, so that's an amazing thing if you have relatives, loved ones that are not local, that you can, once you're at a level 2, you can certainly do distant healing on them.
And they don't have to know about it. I mean, do they have to know about it when you send it to them, or is it something
that you ask for their permissions? And sometimes people aren't in a position to where you can. I mean, obviously, if you have a loved one in a coma, you can't ask
Sure.
for their okay. And so then what you're doing is you're sending Reiki to their higher self and letting their higher self decide if they want to actually receive that healing. So it's never a waste of your energy to send it, but we do prefer that you ask for their permission, because it is their right, it is
To refuse.
to say no.
Absolutely.
Why you would say no, I have no idea. It's wonderful and energy.
Absolutely.
It's like
Yeah.
saying, here's something that's going to make you happy. No, not today. I don't feel like it.
Well,
Today I
sometimes-
want to be cranky.
Sometimes I'll send a little Reiki to somebody who's being difficult, like in a store or market, whatnot. I'll give them like a tiny little bit of Reiki, and I'm like, maybe I'm just doing that kind of for me,
Right.
more
Oh.
for them.
Oh,
but hopefully
absolutely.
it'll change the situation, and put in my head. I'm like, okay, so, but
You're right.
I can't believe that our hour is practically up. So
I could keep on talking to
I know
Debbie. And
this is part one.
This is part one.
know.
Debbie is our Reiki correspondent.
And Debbie, give us all the information on how we can get a hold of you and how we can reap these wonderful benefits from Enchanted Forest Reiki.
Well, you certainly can always call the center. Again, that's 702-948-4999. Or you can stop by. We are located at 800 North Rainbow, Suite 100. Or you can get a hold of us through our Facebook page, Enchanted Forest Reiki. You can get through our meetup groups. We have 2 different
Yes,
meetup groups.
nice.
The Enchanted Forest Connections meetup group, as well as the Las Vegas Metamystics meetup group. And then LinkedIn, just all kinds of different
Instagram.
ways.
We are
Yeah.
across the platform with Enchanted
got you
Forest
covered.
Reiki.
Yeah.
And can somebody just walk in for an appointment?
They can, although we do ask that they call ahead. It's better because it's not like we have practitioners just standing and waiting.
But
So
they
it's
can
always
answer
better.
people there that can answer questions and whatnot
Yes,
for
oh,
them.
absolutely. Well, first of all, we have the gift shop, and a lot of people come in for the gift shop, and
Oh,
then they end up
beautiful
asking
place.
for a session. And Spirit seems to always provide. We'll have somebody
Exactly.
get there.
Well, we can
pretty
hardly
quick for
wait.
them.
We can hardly wait to come and see you at 800 North Rainbow at Enchanted Forest Reiki, Suite 100, corner of Washington and Rainbow. And I can't believe it's been.
I know.
But I'm so happy. This is going to be a great week. I know that the angels
so
are
glad
with
that
us.
Debbie's
And
been here with
again,
us.
thank you so much for coming to join us.
And next
Thank you
week,
for
who we
having
have
me.
next week?
next week.
Who do we have next week?
Yes, we can. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Voices in Vegas.